Well, good morning. Good morning. It's Wet Hair Wednesday, and in Dawsonville, it's raining. Yes, it is. Did y'all miss me? I missed you. It's been a hot minute since this last car chat. I think last week I did none. Traveled up to Nashville. Had a great time there. Although, I will confess to you that I had a minor meltdown this day 1 week ago. I don't know if y'all have ever been to the Grand Ole Opry or Gaylord Opryland or wherever that big old resort and convention is, but it's a stinking maze. And trying to find my room, I really struggled. I don't know if I was overly tired or had way too much luggage or what, but Amber about had a meltdown in the hallways. So that is not what we're talking about today. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and say #replay. Today, I actually want to talk with y'all about a critical spirit. Maybe you have been around these types of people. Maybe you are somebody who carries a critical spirit. Just think about when something is constantly being critiqued. Someone is always critical, right? And be conscious of the fact that A, you can't control that person. They're also not incredibly fun to be around. But beware if you carry a critical spirit. Because I find that all the time, we never know the full story, right? And so if we're being critical of something, we probably don't know the full story. We are not walking in that person's shoes. And so I find that it's best to do two things. One is to always extend grace. I don't know what they're walking through. I don't know what they're going through. While I certainly may do some things different, I also am not in charge. I'm not in control, right? And I find also that when you are living your life, always assume the best unless that individual has spoken otherwise. What do I mean by that? For example, you deal with people all the time. You deal with people in your work. You deal with people at your church. You deal with people in the grocery store, right? And a lot of the times people can just not be aware of how they come off. Not be aware of, or maybe it's you. Maybe you're interpreting something, right? But if I find myself going like, gosh, like what I do to her, or why is he giving me that look? I check myself and I'm like, wait a minute. She never said directly that she has an issue with me. He never brought up a problem that is actually happening. So stop what's happening in your mental space. Assume the best, meaning they probably had no clue that they looked at me that way. They probably have no idea how they're coming across in this moment. And I'm going to always, this is me personally, I am going to assume everything is fine unless that person comes and speaks to me directly. Now, I understand there are certain personalities and people who are passive aggressive. And so they might give you the looks. They might treat you as such. But again, starting from the beginning, we do not know what each person is walking through, okay? They could have had the worst morning ever. They could have received really rough news over the past couple days. And so let's hold a heart posture that always extends grace and always assumes everything's okay unless they speak otherwise. Now, I'm not saying if you notice somebody down, you can't inquire and say, hey, are you okay? Could I pray for you in some way? You know, maybe you have an encouraging word for them, right? I'm not saying ignore that people might not be okay. What I am saying is watch yourself. Watch yourself, because a lot of the times we grasp easily onto a look that wasn't even meant for us, a way somebody acted or responded or walked on by that they didn't even know, they weren't aware of. And so I feel like I'm repeating myself, but this has got to be for somebody. Live in a space of grace. Live in a space of grace. And may we not only be aware of the spirit of criticism or a critical spirit, but may we be direct communicators, okay? Because all you can control is you. All you can control is the response that you have in a moment and the way that you conduct yourself. And so may you be a direct communicator. If you have something going on and you know you need to talk to somebody about it, go directly to that person and speak to them with grace and truth. Be a direct communicator. And then assume that other people will do the same. Now, I know they don't always. I know we've got some passive aggressive, just tendencies, especially with humans, which is what we all deal with. But you can only control you. You are the only one who can zap the critical spirit in your own life. You are the only one who can choose to extend grace in the different scenarios and circumstances and people that you get to do life with, alongside of acquaintances that you bump into, right? And you get to choose not to quickly grasp the spirit of offense, which can happen so quickly. So quickly. Somebody looks at you the wrong way. Oh, what's up there, Tish? So anyways, I hope this is helpful. I trust it is encouraging somebody, whether, again, you're struggling with the spirit of criticism or you have that in your midst on the daily. So be encouraged today. You can only control you, and for all others, of course, extend yourself grace, but extend others grace and recognize we hardly know the full story.